Okay, the next fly we're going to make is streaking caddis. And I've changed hooks. I have in here a size 12 scud hook. Or you could use an emerger hook as well. And you can time smaller, but I thought it'd be hard to see, so I'm using a size 12 scud hook. And just some, in this case, olive thread. And this one you don't want to start by the eye. You want to come down about a third of the way from the eye of the hook to start your thread. And this one you don't end right at the back. You want to bring it around the bend. Oh, I'd say like halfway down towards the point, something like that. You can put a little ribbing on this if you want to, but I'm not going to do that. And we're just going to take a little bit of, in this case, olive dry fly dubbing. Make it whatever color you want, about like so. And I'm just going to dub that on. I want this a little bit thin because I want to try to make a caddis body. And you really want it thin at the bottom and tapered towards the top. So I have my thread on. I'm going to start with some thin parts at the bottom, just overlapping a little bit.
But the other thing is,
As I get towards the top, try to make it a little bit thicker.
I was lucky I had a friend who gave me,
Because I don't want to go any farther than my mark that I started the thread at. Okay, so we'll end up with a little tapered body, about like so. So we want it little to big. The next thing we're going to do is some elk hair, or some deer hair. And yeah, let me use this over here. Thank you. And we're going to make our wing, similar to the caddis and the caddis that we just worked with. Probably about the same amount. We're going to clean it out just like we did before because we need to stack this. And I'm going to take it out in the direction I'm going to tie it on. Make sure everything's lined up pretty well, looks pretty good. And then I'm going to make my wing. And probably I want the edge of the wing to be about equal to the back of the hook. The bend, where the bend kind of starts getting a little steep there.
Is that working better for you?
Again, I'm going to grab the hook itself between my thumb and forefinger, do a couple of pinch wraps right next to the body. And then crank that down just a little bit with a couple of wraps. Okay. And then I'm going to bring my butt ends up, right tight up against the wing, bring my thread in front, and make a few wraps. Okay, so now we have the body on, and we have the basic wing on. Now we won't need our stacker anymore, because now we're going to spin some deer hair. And we'll want a bunch, pretty much the size we had the wing, I suppose. I'm going to select that out. And I'm going to clean it out a little bit, just like we did with the wing. But what I'm looking for, actually, is the center part of the bundle. So I'm going to trim this up and trim the tips off, just so it's evened out a little bit, and getting rid of the stuff I don't need. So when you're done, you're going to have a bundle. It's going to look something like this. I'm going to bring my hair back, put that on my bare spot, so it's pretty equal front and back. Come up and give it a pinch wrap. Do a second one. And if this works right then, as you're doing your second one, you let go, and that should spin around a little bit. Now I'm going to pack this. So you need some kind of a hair packer like this one. There's a lot of different kinds out there. But I hold onto my wing, get right up by the front of the hack or the fur, and push it back.
For the tail.
Okay? If you don't have an actual packer, you could do pretty much the same thing with an old pen and use it as your packer like so.
It's more dense.
Now I have to judge is, do I have any space left I want to fill? And the short answer is just a little bit. So I'm just going to take a little bit of hair this time because I have some bare hook. Clean it out. Trim both ends just like we did before. Take my bundle to the front. Make sure that my thread gets behind the eye of the hook. Couple, let go and let it spin a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to take my packer. I'm going to push that together. Bring my hair back. Best I can. Come in front with a thread. A few wraps back to give it just a little bit of space. And then we're going to whip finish it or half hitch it, whichever you prefer. Making sure you move that thread back so the eye isn't going to get caught or get covered. Snug it, clip the thread. Now I'm going to want to move this spun deer hair portion forward. And kind of get it lined up a little bit, so to speak, like so. Now I want to be careful not to cut my wing. If you have them, this curved hair scissors work real well. If you use regular scissors, you're just going to have to clip a little more. It's going to take just a little more time. And then I'm just going to start around the eye and just take it off a little bit at a time because you don't want to get in a hurry with this. And then I take out round or two and just kind of what I call roughing it in, making sure you don't cut your wing. Take a little bit at a time.
I covered about half. It says 5, 6 wraps. Oh, it doesn't show seven.
That's okay. I mean, it just really needs to go to the point.
You don't want to go all the way down.
Okay, so we kind of got the big stuff off.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, that covers it.
Still got some of my wing left, and now I'm going to go in and shape it the way I want it. So you can have a little bit of a bigger head here. You can make it kind of a cone shape. But the one thing you're going to want when you get to the bottom part is to try to smooth that out so that you have a real nice contour going into your body. What we're really looking for, because the wing's a little light on this one, is something that's going to end up looking like this. So you've got a nice little contoured head, you've got a nice little wing, we've got a body to it that's the color we want. We've trimmed it all up. The underside has a nice curvature to it. And how that's going to sit in the water is kind of like this. The wing's going to support it, the head's going to support it, and you want the hook point in the water. That's a basic streaking caddis. So a little floating around it, it'll float all day. Okay? Okay, let's try tying one.